Hey friends, welcome to day 2 of my 12 days of tools. Thank you for being patient with me. I'm just feeling things out. I hope we can hear better. I've tried a different device and hopefully the sound comes through my mics. I don't know until I actually rewatch it when I'm done. So, with no further ado, today's tool that I feel every homeowner should have is the one and only hammer. So, it's probably the oldest tool in the world, right? We can go there. Cavemen used it. Everybody kind of used it, and it hasn't really changed too much. Basically, something heavy to pound something in, and yeah, it's important to have one around the home. There's so many nails that can be that would have to be hammered in, or other applications could be just knocking something in line. There's so many applications, and there's so many hammers. We shouldn't get hung up on what kind of tool we have. In all of these, I just want to introduce you to what the tools are. Maybe, demonstrate a few of them, but ultimately it's what works for you. And that's the important thing, is to remember that you really have to try this to make sure that it fits you, and don't be afraid to do that. So a little while ago, when I was telling a client about this whole project, she said she keeps her hammer actually very handy, right in her windowsill. Can you guess what her hammer is? It's a rock. She uses it to pound everything. So way to go, Janet. And you know what? It's not that bad of an idea. When you got to hit a nail and you're afraid of hitting the head and maybe moving off and putting a dent in something, this is a pretty big face to hit a pretty small object. So it definitely would not leave a mark if you're careful about it. But that's ultimately what a hammer is just something heavy. What makes it a hammer, though, as opposed to just something to hit something, is having a handle. And the traditional one that we're used to seeing is a claw hammer, just like this. And they call it a claw hammer because it has two sprongs on the back that you can use to take stuff out of. So if you look there's a nail would actually fit in there, so that to pull it out of the wood or wall or whatever you might have put something in. Another type of hammer that is used is something called a ball and peen hammer. And the ball and peen is more of a metalworking hammer. So it's to flatten out corners on metal. It's to make indents in metal. So this is the peen part, and it's just a rounded hole. So these come in various widths and heights. I've got a little 8-ounce hammer that's very light and easy to store. And then I've got a 2-pound hammer, that's a sledgehammer, that we can use for pounding things into the ground or demolishing. It's always fun to demolish. Um, and then your average 16-ounce hammer. So I actually prefer 15-ounce, just my quirkiness. I've got four that are within the same weight and class. So these are 4 claw hammers, and I can hold them all, and they've all got something different about it. One's got a wooden handle. These 3 have long, skinny metal necks, and these ones are more for anti-reverberation. So when you hit something, the bounce shouldn't carry through where the contact makes with the nail all the way into your hand, so you don't get as much hand fatigue. Um, these all come in different price categories as well. This one, actually, my kids got me last year, a couple years ago. It's actually a pretty expensive hammer. It's a very nice hammer. It's not something that I may buy, as I wouldn't buy it as a new homeowner, because it is a very expensive hammer, but it makes for a great gift. So I'm very grateful that my kids did go ahead and make this for me, or get this for me. Just to give you an idea of how some of these new fancy hammers work, this one actually has a really cool feature that when it's a framing hammer. So when people are putting houses together, that's why you'd want this claw one. You can actually set your nail right in the head there. There's a magnet, and then you just pound it right in the first time, and then you can go ahead and put it in. You wouldn't want to use this big hammer, though, for a little wee nail like that. And we would use these little wee nails to maybe put a runner down somewhere, or to hang a really small picture. If you use one of these big ones, chances are you're going to hit your thumb, or you're going to you know, put a hole in the wall. So that's when definitely one of these more smaller scale nail hammers would be able to tap this in, or even the good old rock. So you know what? I've never actually done that. So let me do that here live, see what happens. And Janet was right. It works. So once it's in, the reason why the claw hammers um, are useful is that you can take it out, and that's a big thing with hammers too, is the demolishing part of it. There's actually a brand new make of tools. It's called Crescent Tools, and they make some really cool demolition hammers. I was actually pretty excited to see them because they have a lot of pivot points. So when you're demolishing things, you can get better leverage to take things apart. So if you want to undertake maybe changing the cupboards in your kitchen, you can think about getting a really good hammer that you can pry with, that can not only bang things in with, but that you can take things out as well. So that's pretty much a really high overview of nails. And, I wouldn't want to use this little one to pound in one of these long spikes. This is a 4-inch nail. I don't have any, but you can get nails that are incredibly long. And in my workshop and throughout my property here, I actually have a lot of these big ones because my property is so old. Um, they I guess they use what they had on hand. So trying to pull these puppies out can be quite a challenge. So that's the high overview of a tool that you really should have in your possession is some sort of hammer. I thank you for taking the time to watch this, and I look forward to day 3, and that's going to be on Monday. I'm going to take the weekend off from these lives, and you'll see me on Monday, and we'll find out what day 3 of the 12 days of tools will be. In the meantime, though, what really helps with small businesses like myself are reviews. So if you'd either like to leave a Facebook review, or I've left a link for a Google review, that means the world. Other than that, if you have any questions or comments or fun anecdotes, put them in the comments. We'd love to read them and learn together. So thank you for allowing me in, and have a great day. Bye for now.